The Justice Department has finally released some of the highly anticipated Epstein files related to the late convicted sex offender were made public today.
What if I told you there's a secret file so explosive, so shocking, that it could change how the world sees some of the most famous people alive? A file filled with hidden photos, private flight logs, and testimonies involving celebrities, politicians, and even royalty. Today, we're opening the Jeffrey Epstein files, over 300,000 pages of secrets finally exposed to the public. And trust me, what's inside is more disturbing than anything you've imagined. Some of these images and records link to celebrities, political figures, and royalty. But what exactly is in these files? And what does it mean? Stay with me, because what we uncover might shock you. The epic release of Epstein files. Earlier this week, the U.S. Department of Justice released a portion of the long-awaited Epstein files. This massive release includes photos, flight logs, grand jury testimony, and hundreds of pages of documents, though many sections are heavily redacted. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche confirmed that while 300,000 pages were released, there are still hundreds of thousands more awaiting redaction. The DOJ says the remaining files will come out gradually over the next few weeks to protect victims' privacy. This isn't just a bureaucratic delay. Lawmakers, including Senator Chuck Schumer, are raising concerns that the slow release could be violating federal law. Legal battles are already brewing, which only adds to the drama. Celebrity names making headlines while redactions are widespread. Dozens of new photos and references involve high-profile individuals. Some names repeatedly mentioned in the files include Michael Jackson, reportedly appearing in some dinner and event photos linked to Epstein. Mick Jagger, the legendary musician, appears in images and logs with Epstein and Maxwell. Bill Clinton, former President Clinton, is referenced multiple times, including photos in private settings. Donald Trump, young Trump, appears in several documents, along with mentions of his family members. These references have immediately sparked curiosity, speculation, and controversy. It's important to note, not all appearances mean wrongdoing. Some individuals were photographed in social settings or mentioned in flight logs without direct involvement in crimes. Shocking images and documents. Among the released files, there are numerous photos of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell with famous figures. Some images show social events, while others are more disturbing, highlighting the abuse that occurred behind the scenes. For example, some documents reference minors and disturbing photographs, including handwritten notes detailing inappropriate behavior. A particular note mentions a young artist and her siblings, ages 16 and 12, whose images were allegedly stolen by Epstein and distributed to clients. There's also material describing pornographic magazines and objects, highlighting the disturbing and criminal environment Epstein maintained. Some documents reference massages and other explicit activities. This paints a very grim picture of what was happening in Epstein's inner circle. Political figures and the files. The Epstein files are not just about celebrities. Politicians, both current and former, are mentioned extensively. Some notable figures include Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State; Hunter Biden, public figure; Alexander Acosta, former U.S. official; Steve Bannon, political strategist; Antony Blinken, U.S. official; Rudy Giuliani, former mayor and attorney; Prince Andrew, British royalty, heavily referenced in connection to Epstein. While some names appear in photos, flight logs, or correspondence, it's critical to separate speculation from documented facts. And many mentions are simply records of attendance at social events or travel logs, not evidence of illegal activity. Royalty and high society. The files also include references to British royalty. Prince Andrew's connections with Epstein have been widely covered before, and these files add more details to the story. Other members of high society are mentioned in various capacities, though many of these documents are heavily redacted to protect privacy. This has fueled public fascination with the idea that Epstein's network included some of the most powerful people in the world. The blend of celebrity, politics, and royalty makes the files almost like a real-life thriller, except the stakes are very real. Business tycoons in the files. Some of the world's wealthiest business figures also appear in the documents. Names such as Bill Gates, co-founder of Microsoft; Leon Black, financier; Stephen Feinberg, businessman; Miriam Edelson, philanthropist and business figure; Henry Jarecki, financier. Many of these individuals reportedly interacted with Epstein in professional or social contexts. Again, the files show connections, but don't always indicate involvement in illegal activities. What they do reveal is the extraordinary reach Epstein had in elite circles, mixing power, money, and scandal. Why the redactions matter. You might be wondering why so much of the material is blacked out. The truth is, as redactions protect victims, especially minors mentioned in the documents, entire sections of grand jury reports are blacked out, including sensitive testimonies. While this can frustrate the public and fuel speculation, legal experts emphasize that transparency must be balanced with victim protection. Some lawmakers argue the pace of release is too slow, while survivors say they want the documents to tell the story of abuse and hold perpetrators accountable. As real-life impact on survivors, Congressman Ro Khanna, one of the advocates for releasing these files, has worked closely with survivors. He shared that many victims feel validated now that the documents are public, and that their voices are finally being heard. The survivors' main concern isn't just the celebrities' names, it's about exposing the system that allowed Epstein to operate. They want accountability for the abuse, not just headlines. This underscores the human cost behind the sensationalism and intrigue. Why this is more than just gossip. It's easy to get caught up in celebrity drama, but the Epstein files are a sobering reminder of power, privilege, and how some individuals manipulate systems to exploit others. From flight logs listing high-profile passengers to disturbing notes and photos, the files show a network that spanned entertainment, politics, business, and royalty. And understanding the full context is key. These documents are not just gossip. They're pieces of an ongoing legal and moral reckoning. The questions everyone is asking. Even as more files are released, questions remain. Which names in the documents are involved in wrongdoing? What evidence exists beyond photos and logs? How will additional releases change public perception? Experts caution against jumping to conclusions. Just because someone appears in a flight log or photo does not mean they engaged in illegal activity. But public scrutiny is unavoidable, and each release adds layers to the story we're trying to understand. Breaking down key highlights. Here's what the public finds most attention-grabbing. Photos with celebrities, some showing social gatherings, others more controversial. Flight logs documenting travel with minors in some instances. Handwritten notes detailing criminal activity and threats. Redacted grand jury reports leaving parts of the story hidden for now. The combination of secrecy, wealth, and abuse makes this a story that reads like fiction. But the consequences are all too real. Why the public is obsessed. The fascination isn't just about the celebrities. It's about the power dynamics, the elite connections, and the hidden world that Epstein operated in. People are drawn to uncovering the truth, questioning whether justice has been served, and then imagining how the elite may be held accountable. This is why the files have gone viral, trending across social media, news outlets, and even fan discussions. Everyone wants a piece of the puzzle, but careful, fact-based reporting remains crucial. What's next? The Department of Justice has promised the remainder of the files will be released on a rolling basis. This means more shocking names, more photos, and potentially more evidence will continue to surface in the coming weeks. Legal teams, survivors, and lawmakers are all watching closely. Each new batch of documents could reshape the story and bring renewed attention to Epstein's network. This is a story that's far from over. The Epstein files are not just a celebrity gossip headline, they're a lens into power, corruption, and the fight for justice. If you want to stay updated as more files are released, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And I want to hear from you. What do you think is the most shocking aspect of these files? Do you believe all the high-profile names were aware of what was happening, or were some innocent? Comment below and join the conversation.